Hey, what's up? So the big secret about religion, at least Orthodox religion, why they make everything so difficult and complicated, it involves study 24/7. Every aspect of your life has to be correlated to some kind of principle. They figure if they keep you distracted on all these little things, you won't get into trouble. So in a sense, it's really for kids. And giant ego bubbles get built around it. What's ironic is that the righteous people often have the biggest ego about what you should and shouldn't do. There comes to a point where they just lose their ego. So they have to retrain everyone. No, I was wrong the whole time. These great rabbis and Kabbalists and sheiks and imams and all these things, they can't admit that they were selfish in their youth and they were focused on their image. So it has to be done passively. Meanwhile, there's never an understanding of what the ego actually is. The very thing that believes that you exist is the ego, or what you might consider it. But in the West, or even Middle East, this understanding is not present. You need to go to the Far East, or India, or something like that, where either Zen, Taoism, or Buddhism are discussed. The irony is the nature of the deity of worship is always the most selfless entity. It's literally selflessness incarnate. So once you manifest this spirit, you become nothing. But everything before then is arrogance and ego and about me, about image, about what you should do, what you shouldn't do. So I just finished a book on the Baba Sali, and this guy was willing to go to the fires of hell so other people don't have to be punished. He had no self, and he was pure love. But one of the highest truths that people don't discuss is that he kept the laws not because it was hard or because he wanted to, but because that was his habit. His ego became accustomed to doing that like it was love. And so the definition of love became anything that wasn't following a certain code of conduct. So it was like a sub-layer of ego. Alternatively, you can say that these people never lose their ego. But I don't believe that, because I believe even the Buddhists believe that you should wear a toga, or you should have no self, or you should be in this community. So there's value. So that's why I don't really like that understanding. In the end, you can't really lose your ego because the ego is tied to a collective identity, which is why people promote isolation. You can't live in isolation for long unless you have your own skills, but it's very hard. Even after doing that, you start talking to yourself, since community is a need. Eventually, your family turns into a tribe. So basically, we're communal creatures bound to have some kind of ego framework, some kind of collective identity. And it's not going to go away even if we think it goes away. Even if we achieve globalism, you're still going to have sub-layers of identity, residual stuff, based upon what you value. Whether it's a theme, a genre, a certain look that people have in their hair, or their face, or their choices and how they present themselves. All that correlates to sub-layers of ego identity, formed upon your interactions with others. This is all the selfless stuff. But in religion, they forget this, so they don't know this. They think the law is like this intricate thing you need to follow, some obscure reason, or some deity they never saw or heard of, or don't even understand, and call people like me these heretics that need to burn in hell. Meanwhile, that idea is coming from ego, and the Baba Sali would choose death before that happens, because people don't have an understanding of what the ego is, what the Yetzer Hara is, what the evil inclination is, what the Satan is, or the angel of death. It's simply collective identity and your values that are built upon that. With this awareness, you can overcome that. You can realize when it's happening, so you can take it less seriously. Keep coming centered to a state of peace. Religious systems and institutions, foundationally, they want a system of control, but they don't realize they're doing or that this is their motive. They just know that they're comfortable with this form, and their own egos can't let them overcome that and see that. It was a slow process for realization for them. Religious people basically have to feel like their identity is not being lost while they keep loosening the restrictions.